Howdy friends. Today I'm going to unbox this Tiger Force G.I. Joe Duke and R.A.M cycle. Let's see, on the front we've got Duke here, obviously in a pretty exciting action-packed kind of scene, having just blown up his tank, so he's quite an effective fighter there. We'll turn to the side here. We can see Duke just in a standing pose and the 5 airplanes below kind of in a victory formation. Maybe some of you guys who know more about that can explain it to me. On the back we've got the Tiger Force logo here. We've got the cycle. One of the things I like about it is these flying teeth, which I remember coming from the United States' P-40 Warhawk airplanes that I believe were given to the Korean military during World War II, but I'm not sure about that. They may have been piloted by Americans, they may have been piloted by Koreans. I think they were called the Flying Tigers or the Fighting Tigers. So maybe somebody who knows more about that can fill us in on the comments. So here we've got the dimensions of the figure. We got as if he was 6'3". Of course he's to scale 1/12, and the motorcycle itself would be 7'8" long. Of course it's to scale, so it's 1/12. And then we turn to the side and we've got his list of skills here. Hope you guys can see. First marking indicates he's a level 4 leader. The second marking down here indicates he's level 2 with light weapons. Third indicates he's a level 3 at skydiving. The last one indicates he's level 4 at tactics. That's what those mean for this particular character. Now let's go ahead and get into unboxing, see what it looks like. Yeah, one thing I've always liked about G.I. Joe, or I guess I should say I've always been into military technology and military equipment. It's always been fascinating to me. Just the the incredible inventiveness of this stuff. Okay, we've got a box here of number 40 on the top, Duke and R.A.M. We've got some equipment in here, I'm sure. Let's go ahead and open it. It's probably the side gun. We've got some bags inside with G.I. Joe and Cobra emblems on them. Get those out. Otherwise this is empty here. Get that to the side. Slice this bag open. Sure looks like we've got part of that gun sidecar, so there we go, the inside and outside of it. Probably just going to stick those together, looks like. And we've got the Vulcan cannon gun and the rest of Duke's equipment. Something's still in there, I think. His small gun, pistol. Cool, so they packaged his rifle in this extra cardboard so it wouldn't bend up. That's nice of them to do. Very nice. That looks in good condition there. It's not bent anywhere, so I think they did a pretty good job of that. Well done, Mattel. Got to give credit when credit is due. Let's see if I need to cut this or just pull it off. It looks like I'm going to cut it so I don't damage anything, except for hopefully not my fingers either. Cutting through this tape. So as I was saying, I always admired military technology, and when I was a kid it was cool to think about blowing people up and how mighty the United States was and all that stuff. And now it's not that interests me, it's just how amazing it is that the creativity, the amount of creativity and ingenuity that humans put into killing each other. It's quite remarkable. I went on a tour of a battleship, I guess it was the USS Iowa in San Pedro, California, just remarking at the size of the giant guns and just the amount of engineering that went into a battleship like that, and how all that is just made to kill other humans. It's quite astounding. It really made me pause and reflect there for what crazy, silly creatures we can be. Anyway, we've got Duke's backpack here. He's got his trench shovel for digging in when he needs to escape bomb blasts and stuff. He's got this very small pistol. Don't know what the name of this kind of gun is. I'm sure it's probably a Glock of some kind. Quite advanced looking. Automatic, I'm sure. And we've got another small, what is this? Maybe a radio of some kind? Not exactly sure what that piece of equipment is, but I'm sure it sticks out of his body somewhere because it's got this pinhole here. So let's see, how does this go together? Looks like that's just going to go inside here like that. Gun just fits right inside, and then this will fit right on the outside. So I guess this is made to come apart so that he can carry the weapon separately. as Roadblock does, or it can be as part of the sidecar. Now I think it would have been cool if they'd have figured out a way to put a gear system in there so that when this turned, that this would turn. That would be really neat. So when it was rolling along, that this would automatically turn. But hey, we can only ask so much of Mattel these days, right? Alright, so we've got into the box now. That's very cool. Really cool looking motorcycle. I'm excited about that. I like the paint apps on it. Looks nice. First thing that I see anyway. And Duke looks you know, nice as well. Typical. We can see they're just attached in with some twine. So yes, as I was saying about military technology, it's just still amazing that we keep advancing more and more. I just saw the other day an article about our B-21 bomber, which I haven't heard of. I thought it looked just like the B-2 bomber, but maybe it's got a different wing shape. It's supposed to be more advanced, you know, stealth kind of bomber that can get anywhere and do anything and drop nukes on the enemies, whoever the enemy are. Who are the enemy, right? Isn't it us? I don't mean the U.S., I mean humans. And who do we really fight for? It always seems like the people on the ground who are doing the fighting are really just fighting for the leaders to have control over the people on the ground, right? So it's kind of like we're just pawns fighting to see who our kings are going to be, sadly. Although, you know, sometimes maybe that makes sense. Like I would say, I'm definitely, you know, I'd definitely rather be a pawn for the American Empire than, say, Nazi Germany or the Japanese or something that were, you know, particularly harsh even compared to us. But, you know, if you step in the way of America, you're going to get your head boot stomped as well. So it's, I think as Neil Young said, it's a kinder, gentler machine gun hand. That brings me to the thought about collectivism in general, which is the idea of sacrificing your life or giving your life to something higher, bigger, more important than you yourself, which I think is one of the oldest tricks in mankind to get people to serve other people's interests instead of their own. You know, it's the idea of this religion or this government or this state is more important than you. You're just a small part of it, and they get you to die for their cause instead of, you know, living for your own. Anyway, we have freed the cycle here. Looks like it's fairly stable, somewhat on its own. I guess it would be, kind of hard to pose. It looks like without using the sidecar. So maybe that's a little unfortunate. I know the coil that came with the Baroness, that one will stand up fairly well on its own because the tires are significantly wider and flatter. These are nice feeling tires. They actually feel just so slightly rubbery. They're definitely plastic, but they're definitely softer plastic than this. You can tell when I click it. Alright. Again, the paint apps are really cool looking. Those tiger teeth look awesome. The blending of the white to the yellow looks really nicely done. Like this clear, kind of clear black shield here. Is it clear? Kind of looks like it's clear, although I guess it could be just solid. Anything else? These handles do not move, but there are some markings on the dial here which are pretty cool looking. I like the pipes that come out here on both sides. Very nice looking motorcycle. Definitely has I don't know if this was designed or modeled after a genuine military motorcycle, but it sure looks like it could have been. Really nicely spinning wheels here. We got the disc brakes on the sides there, so really cool. Nice details on this, I gotta say. So there's that. Let's see, this will attach. There's some holes here, smaller and larger, so that's just gonna, I'm sure, just slide in there. And I don't know how far it needs to go in. I think that's probably far enough. Not going to force it. So now we have a stable vehicle. Very nice. And you can see quite devastating with that minigun Vulcan cannon they got there on the side. I believe those are called miniguns. I remember also in the movie Predator when Jesse the Body Ventura used that weapon against the Predator. Carried it in his arms. You know, probably something a real human couldn't do, but Roadblock also did it. But yeah, I think too heavy, too much recoil. Yeah, probably just too heavy. Even just the gun itself, let alone the ammunition that it would burn through so fast. So okay, here's our Duke figure. I actually like this green shirt version of him. I don't know how many people like him because he's not like the one in the cartoon. Let's go ahead and attach his gear. I'm not sure which way goes up and down. Maybe it's a binoculars, and I think I'm going to pose it like that. Don't know if that's right or wrong. Maybe again you guys can tell me if that looks wrong to you. He's got his holster here, so we're going to put his special Glock or whatever that is down in there. And he's got his backpack. Let's see how that's going to fit over his utility strap, whatever. Just pegs into him. It would probably fit better if that bandolier wasn't there, but it works okay. So there we have it. Now he's got this weapon, finger through the trigger. Looks very good. Duke's out, ready to scout. Howdy, it's me, Duke. Yo, Joe. Where's Scarlet? Okay. Doing that voice doesn't help my throat very much. So let's get him mounted. We got some pegs for his feet. Peg holes in his feet. So we can mount him on and keep him on. Well, let's see about that, huh? Backpack has already fallen off, like I said. You know, it's just amazing, yeah, for as much work and everything they put into these guys that they don't make great toys. They just fall apart too easy. None of these things really stick on them very well. You know, they put a lot of time and effort into the designing of them, but not into designing them so they work. Not to the utility. You know, they make them look cool. See, I'm having a hard time. He's got kind of an edge around the outside of his boot that sticks up, so it's higher than where the hole is, and it doesn't seem to want to fit on there very well. Now maybe I've got this gun pushed in too far. Like I say, yeah, the utility of the designs is not near as good as the aesthetic. They make them look cool, but they don't work very well. And I kind of wish I had opened a few more of the G.I. Joes earlier on in my collecting, because I think I would not have collected as many as I have, having known how temperamental they are, I guess, or just you want to pose them, but they just kind of they just fall all over the place. Kind of too many points of articulation. Depends on what you want to do with them. If you're wanting to pose them and get them just right in a photograph, then all the points of articulation are really handy and helpful. But if you're trying to play with the guys, it's just literally too much. They're just not sturdy enough with all these articulation points. And overall, I really prefer the original design of G.I. Joe, the O-ring ones. They're just much easier to play with without all these different places they can bend and flex and fall apart on you. And all these, you know, loosey-goosey things that flop around on them. But these, they look cool. I gotta say, once you get them all set up, they look pretty neat. Yeah, they just, boy, oh boy, getting them set up, just not as fun as they used to be with the old O-ring toys. And I think that's one of the reasons I've really lucked into, you know, my first new collecting was the Masters of the Universe Origins figures. Because I really like their 16 points of articulation. I think it's just enough that you can pose them in, you know, in a more adult way, and you can do more with them. But it's not so many points of articulation that they become sort of floppy and lack stability. So, yeah, I think those Origins figures, for more than one reason, are kind of my favorite. The other is just the fact that they are so strange looking, and, you know, there's so much sort of variety. And even though they're you know, almost all the same kind of body, the way they paint them different colors and you know, they give them different personalities, different heads and stuff. They really are quite an interesting group. You got the air figures and the water figures and insectoid figures and humanoid figures. So yeah, having more trouble here trying to get Duke's hand around this handlebar here. So okay, we've got the hand on the handlebar there. But as I was saying, they're just kind of difficult to get in position. Now, I guess I'll have to look at the picture again and see if he's on the seat or not. But I have a feeling he's not on the seat, and that's why they took the picture from this sort of angle here. Because it looks like I'm not able to get him down on his seat. Not while his arm is on the handlebar. It's just probably wouldn't give me enough room. Try maybe if I bend his knees a little bit more here. Not the easiest thing to get him to do. Get him in position there. Get the hand on the handlebars. Now I can get this gun out, lift his head up a little bit there, so it looks like he's up. Can I straighten out his back a little more? There we go. He's not quite on his seat, but he's pretty close. He's just not quite sitting down. Maybe you can see that. There's a gap there between his butt and the seat. So he's kind of riding, standing up, even with his knees bent here. I just don't think I can get it much better than that. So Well, again, you know, I'm not going to complain too much. It's cool looking. It's going to look cool on a shelf. I'm not going to sit there and be bothered that his butt's up a little bit from the seat. I mean, we all ride bikes. We get up off the seat sometimes. That's normal, so it's not awful. But it does make me think they spend more time designing the aesthetic design of it and don't really have the mechanical designers in there making sure that everything fits well and articulates well. So that's my one gripe this video. My main gripe is, you know, I think it looks great aesthetically. I just wish that everything was designed a little better for use. We've got this bandolier strap. It's kind of in the way of this backpack plug getting into his back far enough. That doesn't look like right. That doesn't. It's sticking out at an angle off his back instead of kind of fitting in tight like it should. So, yeah. Let's see. Can we get his head off? Are these guys' heads made to come off? I don't think they are. They don't come with extra heads. Are their arms meant to come off, or is this meant to just flex over his head? Come on, Dookie. You old Dookie, you. Alright, we got it off just by bending it. Hallelujah. So now let's see if his backpack fits any better. It's still kind of up at an angle. Doesn't seem to, you know, you'd like it to sit a little more flush with his back. That looks a little odd sticking up like that off the back. So, I think I'd rather him just not have the backpack. And what about the bandolier? Maybe we'll put the bandolier back on. There we go. So as I said, I'm pretty impressed with his overall appearance and the appearance of the bike. I think they look cool, they display well, but I don't really love them as far as a toy goes. Not really easy to play with. So, good thing I'm an adult and I don't do too much playing with my toys other than occasionally making videos with them, which is more like posing them anyway. So with that, guys, thanks you for watching. Hope you enjoyed this episode, and see y'all later. Take care. Bye now.